What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day so far. In today's video, we got some exciting news here. The champion behind me is the upcoming Fusion champion that we will be taking a look at today. We got all the info, we got the kit, and yeah, we'll be giving our opinion and our analysis on everything here today. First, let's take a quick look at some Plarium commentary about this brand new champion and see what they have to say about this. All right, so hey folks, next Thursday, so that's the key date here, guys. Thursday, June 4th, we're planning to launch a champion fragment event of a new champion, Folan Silverhart. There we go. That is the champion's name, Folan. It will be a Sylvan Watcher, legendary attack base Spirit Affinity champion. Folan Silverheart is a damage-focused champion designed for both PvP and PvE content. He relies on his fellow Sylvan Watchers allies for additional survivability, while his multi-hit abilities make him especially effective in the current PvP meta. His kit revolves around debuff synergy. He places decreased defense, block passives, debuff, spreads them across the enemy team, and deals increased damage to debuff targets. To further reinforce this offensive pressure, he can also ignore block damage and unkillable buffs to deliver devastating blows to the opponent. I was just gonna say that this guy sounds his sounds from the description sounds like Carnage, and he actually looks like Carnage too, with the slender build with the wings and all that. Yeah, he definitely kind of reminds me a little bit of Carnage. Some quick comments here. So it's going to be a fragment fusion. It's going to be happening next Thursday, so a week from today. Keep in mind that fragment fusions do not give you fusion tokens, and also cannot be exchanged for fusions with your existing tokens. So make sure you guys are aware of that. If you guys were thinking about completing him to exchange him for a fusion, that's not going to happen. If you guys were thinking about completing him for a fusion token, that's not going to happen. All right, let's jump into what his kit looks like here. So let's go. So here is his kit. Folan Silverhart. Let's check out his A1. Puncture wounds. Single target. Triple hit, guys. Triple hit. That's going to be the new normal now. Multi-hit abilities. Each hit has a 30% chance, 50% when fully booked, of increasing the duration of random debuff on the target by 1 turn. Now, a 3-hitter with 50% chance to increase the duration gives you 87.5% chance in total of increasing the duration at least once. Obviously, the triple hit is going to be very, very useful, especially in PvP with Mercurial and all that. Let's check out the A2. Bind and Break on a 5-turn cooldown. Unbooked 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. 20% damage from books. It's an AoE double hit. There we go, guys. Another AoE hitter, multi-hitter. Deals 10% more damage to each enemy for each debuff on them. Will ignore unkillable and block damage debuffs. So if you guys didn't know, enemies can only have 10 maximum debuffs. So this will scale up to 100% additional damage if they have full 10 debuffs. And I absolutely love that it ignores unkillable. Yeah, not less so that block damage, because there's actually more and more champions that are able to deal with block damage, but there's not that many champions that can deal with unkillable. So I absolutely love that it can do that. And of course, being a multi-hit AoE is very, very strong. Let's try out the A3, A Sun's Wrath. A Sun's Wrath, what does that mean? 6-turn cooldown, and then fully books down to 4-turn cooldown. A bit of a bummer here that you get no damage from books, unfortunately. It's going to be a single target attack, double hits. The first hit has a 100% chance when fully booked of placing decreased defense for 2 turns. Second hit, 100% chance of placing block passives for 2 turns. Then applies debuff spread effects, taking all debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. Finally, attacks all enemies 1 time. This attack will ignore 20% of each target's defense. So it's interesting. Not only does this guy kind of reminded me of Carnage just by aesthetics, even his ability here really reminds me of Carnage. Also, block passives, multi-hit single target with the debuff spread. Very, very similar. Let's check out the passive here. Malignant Might. For each Sylvan Watcher ally on the team, including this champion receives 10% less damage from AoE attacks, and ignore defense effects against this champion are 10% less effective. So he automatically gets 10% for himself. Now, there's going to be some decent Sylvan Watchers that are in the arena, scene right now. Obviously, you have somebody like Nice, you have Arbase, you have Neve. There's a couple more. I guess now, for example. Anyways, there's some very, very useful PvP champions in the Sylvan Watchers. So you could get some pretty decent bonuses here. Whenever this champion attacks, has a 30% chance to turn weak hits into normal hits. This chance increases by 10% for each debuff on the target. So I wonder if you can scale this all the way up to 100%. I'm not sure if it's additional percentage. I'm not sure if it's like 10%, 20%, 30%. So if you have seven debuffs um, on the target, does it make it 100% chance to turn weak hits into normal hits? Not too sure. But I kind of like that weak hit protection here. It's 30% to start if they have no debuffs at all. And then lastly, a 30% attack in all battles aura. Now that we read the entire kit, we can kind of give a good overview here. If I were to compare this champion to Carnage again directly, I would say Carnage is still significantly better than this champion. However, the big thing with Folan here is that he does have that AoE, that double hit AoE. That is probably the biggest plus on this guy compared to somebody like Carnage. I think overall he's still a very, very good champion based on the kit. The decreased defense block passive is very strong. Block passive in general can really, really allow you, similar to Carnage, handle some teams that would otherwise just give you so much trouble. Block passives is very strong. And he does come with another AoE. So he has a couple AoEs here. The A2 is an AoE, and the A3 is also an AoE. And gotta love his little built-in 20% ignore defense here also. He does have damage scaling on his A2, and his passive does increase his damage also. So hopefully, as a damage dealer, he needs to hit good. Otherwise, he's just not even going to be worth talking about as a damage dealer. The other big thing here that Carnage has over this champion is that Carnage is a mythical champion. So obviously he can prevent, he still has some value even if he's locked out. Whereas Folan here, if he's locked out, he only really has his A1. He doesn't really have protection against it. I would say Carnage's aura is better than just the basic ally attack aura. Seems to be a little bit more useful in arena, for example. But I think a direct comparison to Carnage is a little bit unfair here for Fuller. I do think his kit looks quite interesting, quite strong. The lack of built-in survivability in his kit does probably hold back my general excitement for him a little bit as a top tier kind of damage dealer pick in arena. But I like it. I like his kit. I like his abilities. I like his multi hits. I like his AoEs. I like that his built-in damage. I like that he ignores unkillable, ignores block damage. Block passive's also very strong. I love that. I find his passive perhaps a little bit on the weak side. The damage mitigation part of his passive is probably not strong enough to make a huge impact to keep him alive. And a 30% chance to turn weak hits into normal hits. So you will only weak hit about a third of the time. And then a third of the time of that, you'll turn those weak hits into normal hits, assuming that there's no debuffs on the target. So this is not going to happen that often to make a big difference, I think. So in terms of overall value, I would say his passive probably just doesn't happen too often to make an impact. And like I said, his aura, a little bit generic. Maybe wouldn't even have minded to see an accuracy aura here. That's the other problem with Folan, is that his kit requires accuracy if you want to take advantage of his A3 and his A1. Seeing as his kit benefits from debuffs, you probably want to build him with accuracy so that he can at least land his debuffs himself, like especially the block passive skill. So depending where you are in arena, you're going to be looking at 3, 4, 500 accuracy on this guy. This makes getting a soul for him incredibly, incredibly important because of the extra accuracy that you get on the 5-star. And just like with any fusion, we'll probably end up getting an event for his 5-star soul somewhere along the way. I think for newer players, this champion is a little bit interesting. It could be useful against somebody like Clan Boss, somebody like Chimera, just because he does have some pretty good single target stuff happening. The increase duration of debuffs is actually very strong on a single target. And then he does bring decreased defense also, and it's easier to stack up debuffs against a single target boss. So he's going to get the full benefit and the full power of all the debuffs. But I'm hesitant. I need to see this guy in action. I need to test his damage multipliers to see if he's actually worth even talking about. But I'm hesitant to say whether this guy is going to be a top pick in PvP format. For Faction Wars, this guy should be an absolute stud. AoE decreased defense with the multi-hit AoEs. And then the block passives. This guy should be amazing in Faction Wars. And of course, the passive that benefits off of Sylvan Watchers. He's an interesting champ. Like I said, I want to test him further to give any kind of concrete verdict. But right now, I'm not willing to say that he's a slam dunk, but definitely a very, very strong champion and should be useful for a lot of players and a lot of content. But is he better than somebody that is free like Carnage that you might already have, at least for PvP? I'm not totally convinced. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Folan Silverhart. He's going to be the brand new Fragment Fusion. Very important Fragment Fusion, guys. Happening on June 4th. That's next Thursday. Make sure you guys mark that down in your calendars. I'm sure the playtest videos will be coming within that couple of days' time. So keep an eye out for those. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Folan. Are you guys excited? Do you guys see any weird or cool places where you guys would use Folan? Would you guys build him out full damage or accuracy? Keep in mind his A3 doesn't have any damage in books. That's a little bit of a warning sign for me to build him out in full damage. He might be a debuffer. Anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'd really appreciate that. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.